Hey y'all, what's going on? It's Barb Meets World, and we will be discussing the Real Housewives of Potomac Season 10, Episode 9, Leak What You Speak, okay? But before we get into all of that, you guys already know I need you to do a couple of things for me, which include liking the video because it helps me and my channel in terms of the algorithm and helps me attract new subscribers such as yourself. So go ahead and hit the subscription button, hit the like button. Also, let me know your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. I love to know your thoughts on this episode as well as my commentary. And don't be shy, but share me with all of your folks near and far. Make sure that notification bell is on so you know each and every time I make an upload. And yeah, that's pretty much all of the housekeeping, y'all. I would love to know again what you guys thought of this episode. We're really in the heart of the season now. I feel like there was a lot of different things to talk about with this episode. I'm gonna have to, gather a couple of different people. So let's just jump right into it because I do not want to keep you all waiting, and I don't have that long. So let's get into it. Yes. The episode picks up right where the previous episode left off, which is with Stacey and Kei going at it at the Reasonably Shady event. And Stacey's just reminding Kei, like, in reference to being trusted around husbands, like, she doesn't even have one. Like, you don't even have one, boo. And y'all know, usually I would say that is the wackest read. That is just something that I don't like to see the girls throw in each other's faces because it can change in an instant, okay? But in this case, Kei took it there first. Kei brought up husbands and whatever. She brought it up first, and I do feel like Stacey was just responding based on things that the bones that Kei was trying to pick. And Kei could only respond by saying, like, you don't have one either, BITC. What? Where is Demo? Where is Demo? Where is Demo? Like, just really getting irate over something that really doesn't concern her or should have her this upset. And I feel like when she was going, where is Demo? Where is Demo? It was giving, a good old Nene Leakes, Real Housewives of Atlanta circa season 10 reunion tease where, Nene was like, where is your scooter? Where is it? Where is it? I feel like she was trying to like have one of those moments, but it wasn't iconic. It was irate. If y'all disagree, let me know. But I feel like everything that Kei was doing in the scene was falling flat, and I'm glad that Wendy was there to remind her because it really just makes her look foolish and makes her look like she's being used kind of as a pawn to come at somebody who last time we checked, we didn't understand. We didn't know that you guys even had an issue. Like last time I checked, you guys were, all buddy, especially last season. And if you guys watched the after show, you heard Ashley say, like, when we went to Lake Norman or whatever, and they were, buddied up together in the room, like it was cool. Like what changed? And all Kei can say is that, nothing that Stacey says is real. Like she can't differentiate between anything real about her. And I'm just like, that's tired. And that honestly doesn't have anything to do with you. I will say, and I have said on here before, that we do need to see the real behind what Stacey has to offer. She needs to at least give us some real in one area of her life. But I just don't think that Kei should be the messenger that is trying to pull that out of Kei, pull that out of Stacey when Kei has her deficiencies as well. We don't really know if you're keeping it 100% honest with your situations either. And we'll get more into that as this recap review goes on. I'm sorry, y'all. There's a very interesting looking aircraft flying outside, and there's a lot of like military like aircrafts and different things that fly around here. So I'm always like being nosy, trying to see like what's up or whatever. And it just, sorry. Anyway, what else happened? Charisse. I guess maybe this was supposed to be a nod to her being like the real grand dame or whatever, because next thing we know, Charisse is calling Chris to get his side of things, because Stacey's like, why don't we call the person who says that I was lying on me? Like, hello. And I really will say that Stacey handled herself very well in this throughout this entire thing. Better than I would have, because I like the way that Kay was just coming at her just really didn't make any sense to me. It really didn't, y'all. Nonetheless, did you guys pick up on when Gizelle was like, oh yeah, she can't be trusted around husbands or children? Husbands or children? What the I can't even cuss yet, but what the freak does that mean, Gizelle? Children? Like, what was she trying to insinuate with that? And before the Green Eye Bandit members come up in my comments saying like that I'm just trying to put 20 on 10 or whatever, Gizelle has a history of saying things in a way with certain insinuations that are really nasty. And I feel like this kind of goes in line with that. And this is one of 2 times in this episode alone that Gizelle has proven to us, at least to me, well, I shouldn't even say to me because I always knew, but maybe to some of y'all, that she hasn't changed and that she's still the same old nasty spirited person up underneath it all. Just saying, because that was very unwarranted. Anyway, and so when Charisse calls Chris, he says pretty much like he don't know what the F they're talking about. He don't know nothing about that. And again, we have Gizelle over here saying like, okay, well, she's not going to believe Stacey regardless. So I'm like, what was the point of her call? Like, what is the point of this whole thing anyway? If you already have your 9 made up, what is the point of going back and forth? And I feel like it all comes down to they want to get a rise out of Stacey. It makes them even more upset that she's not succumbing to them all coming at her and trying to dogpile on top of her and nothing like that. And it's just really probably just really infuriating to them. And honestly, it's just bumping Stacey up higher and higher and higher into that first chair, quite honestly. If she doesn't get first chair, then this show is rigged for real. Because they being the Gizelles, the Kays, Tia has gotten her licks in. Ashley obviously has been on Stacey about stuff. They're all taking turns. Angel's having her little 1-2s and stuff and her shadiness. They're all taking time and turns trying to whack Stacey. And it's like a, y'all know, like that whack-a-mole game or whatever. And it's just like they can't hit it. They can't hit her. It's just not happening. It's just like going right. It's like the Matrix almost. It's sad on their parts, especially when a couple of these people are OGs and it's not working. Like you should know how to come better. You should really know how to gather better than this, Gizelle and Ashley especially, but it's flopping. It really is. Anyway, and also Charisse, you really just want a moment clearly, because just as soon as you get off the phone with Chris, you're over here telling them how just 5 months ago, Stacey and her were hanging out, and then there was this man that supposedly was interested in Stacey. She was interested in him or whatever. And when the man went to the restroom, his other friend was like, "Oh, I see you guys are, interested in one another, but FYI, he's married." And Charisse also said that they were all married in this group. So I'm like, that also makes you look weird then too, because you hanging out with married men too. So what are we saying here? And apparently Stacey was like, "Oh, what's that got to do with me?" Do I feel like on one hand Stacey may have said that? Sure, probably. That's her business. That's not mine. That's not how I get down. But teach his own. But it's like, Charisse, you just said that you guys are hanging out, and now you're over here for referring to her as like a trick and all this other stuff and spilling tea. And it's just like, you were complicit with it in the moment. Like, if this situation ever came up, were you ever going to say anything? Clearly not. So like, whose side are you really trying to be on other than the side of Bravo? Honestly, yeah, it really just reeked of, you just want to be back on the show. Clearly, I don't get it. Anyway, moving right along, Gizelle tells Wendy Angel had smoke for her. So Wendy's like, oh my God, okay, like what's going on? And so Angel comes over and, she starts her whole, Wendy doesn't treat her right. And she's so dismissive and snide and et cetera, et cetera. And Wendy's like, girl, you're seriously beefing with yourself. Like, be so fucking for real. And Angel's like, see, you're doing it right now. And Wendy brings up how Angel was so bothered by her not saying hi to her in the airport, but all I could think of is, Angel, you also didn't say hi to her either. So again, what is the issue? And even in this moment, Gizelle admits to saying the whole catfish comment first. Gizelle is literally saying that to Kay or Angel, and Angel, for whatever reason, I mean, I know the reason, is not taking that up with Angel, with Gizelle. In her eyes, they've already talked about it, whatever. And it's just like, girl, just say that you want to be friends with Gizelle, that you don't want to go up against, Gizelle, because you really want to be over there with her. Just say that, because Gizelle is telling you, I said it, me right here, and for whatever reason, you're diverting all of your energy and all your animosity towards Wendy. What does that appear to be, y'all? What do you think could be at the heart of that? I'll let you guys fill in the blank, especially when it comes to this show. Anyway, what else? And this is where Gizelle had to let Angel know, like, yeah, you're falling flat. And Angel, she tries to back away and say, this is why, you're doing it again, and all this different stuff. And Wendy is like, girl, like, you act like we even want you here in the first place. That was the key to me. And for whatever reason, this ignites the fire between Stacey and Kay again. Well, really Kay versus Kay. And this is where we get this weird like non-moving ass expression from Kay, talking about you're jealous of everything of me. And Stacey's like, what could I be jealous of? What are you talking about? My man, my business, my things, my condo, girl, what? It was so weird, y'all. It was so freaking weird. And this face was even weirder. And she's a beautiful girl. Don't get me wrong. Y'all know I'm always down here going up for Kay and her looks. But that's unfortunately all we can go up for at this point in time, because everything else she says is tired and makes no sense. Just like her homegirl over there. Like, what is it? And she's like really mad when it comes to Stacey. It makes no sense. And then, you're sitting here acting like you don't want a ring, but then we find out later on the episode that you guys have been looking at rings. Like, so which one is it? Talking about oh yeah, that one's cloudier than the mother. I know what you're trying to, like, what is wrong with her? Like, genuinely, what is wrong with you, my girl? It's really scary and very displaced. So at this point, Stacey goes to Gizelle to bid her congratulations, and she politely makes her exit. And Jassi runs up to her like, girl, like, where are you going? Like, I haven't seen you since the wedding. Like, oh my God. And Stacey's like, girl, I'm clearly not wanted here. So I'm gonna bow out gracefully. And that has always been something that I practice / I've not really ever eaten in these types of situations, thankfully, because I ain't got time. But never wait around to be asked to leave, y'all. Always know when it is your turn to leave a situation, leave a setting. And I'm glad that Stacey understood that it was her time to make her exit. And you notice how right after that, we didn't really get no more. Wendy's like, they all throwing back shots when he's like, all right, time to go, babe. And that's pretty much the end of the scene. So quite honestly, these ladies are really, like I said before, just bumping Stacey up to be more and more relevant, to be more and more at the forefront, holding the center champagne glass, center cherry blossom, whatever. That's really what they are doing when it comes to Stacey, because she really just keeps rising up through all these situations, and she's coming out unscathed. And Wendy also is having an amazing season just the same. So it's really, they just look really bitter. And even in in like another couple scenes, we see that being continued. Could never be me. Anyway. And you notice how Angel was quick to run up to Bobby and try to tell him, oh yeah, I told you I was going to talk to her about it. Girl, that's not even how it went. Yeah, you brought it up to her. She gathered your ass real quick is what happened. But anyway, let her tell it. It was the other way around. Or, this is why she was disengaged, because Wendy is just so dismissive and so this and so that. Like, girl, get on with that. Anyway. Stacey, Arabella, and Timo. I don't really have much to say about this other than that pizza did not look that good. But we know if there's gonna be a scene with Stacey and pizza, it's not gonna look good. We learned that last season. But anyway, they making pizza. They're sneaking in kisses because Arabella still doesn't know that they're back together. She won her match. And what else? He's still not officially moved back into the house. Obviously, we understand why. No arguments there. Arabella congratulates her mom on her new gummy bear line. And I put that in air quotes if you guys didn't watch the episode, because Stacey lets us know that she doesn't quite understand the whole cannabis of it all. And that's probably my only critique is she's like 9. By no means, y'all, am I sitting here saying that you should be having grown conversations with your kids or anything like that. Definitely not. But I do think she's old enough to know, like, one, she probably already does know, Stacey. And 2, I do think she's old enough to kind of know, like, about this type of thing, especially because it is becoming more and more prevalent. It is becoming more and more accessible, because God forbid she like see a gummy here or there, or goes in your purse, or whatever, and she takes one, and then now she's over there high AF in the corner. Like, I feel like there's a way to inform your children of things that may impact their lives, or may also help develop their outlook on life and stuff like that. I think it's totally fine for her to know what that is and how it works and stuff like that. I don't think that you should shelter them past a certain point, because then they become a danger to themselves, quite honestly, when they go out in the real world. But that's just my 2 cents, just saying. Then we have a scene with Jassi, Wendy, and Stacey. Jassi's hosting them at her house. She had a really cute spread. She also took in Stacey's dietary restrictions, because Stacey's a pescatarian. I thought that was real cute. Better than, hey, y'all know I loved me some Karen in the past, but she did even better with Karen, because y'all remember, was that last season when Karen even had her party, and Stacey and Kay is allergic to cheese, and like everything had cheese, and Kay like wasn't able to eat anything. So, kudos to Jassi, and that's just more proof of why she should be full-time and other people should be demoted or straight up axed. Just saying. Anyway, according to Wendy, Stacey be knocking like the FBI. I'm gonna be quiet about that. Stacey doesn't understand Kay's hyped up energy towards her. We don't understand it either, like I was just saying. And Wendy would like for Stacey to meet with Monique, which Stacey does agree to. And she says that's cool just as long as Kay isn't there. And quite honestly, because of this weird energy that Kay has been displaying towards Stacey, I don't think that she's wrong about that anyway. I really don't. At the same time, we got Angel over there hosting at the hater headquarters is what I like to call it at this point. It's her, Tia, Kay, Gizelle, and Ashley all together. And Angel claims to have found a house that she's wanted to purchase in Potomac. It's a 9-bedroom. We'll see about that. Because based on the previews, we're supposed to hear some interesting details about her living situation in episodes to come. And also, did you all clock that Angel said Bobby's the shadier one out of both of them? That gives way to like a theory that I might have later on at the end. Just, yeah, bookmark that real quick, y'all. What else? Gizelle says that the group trauma bonds over Stacey, and when they get together, it's a key. That's the second thing that pops up in my mind when I am wondering if Gizelle has changed or not. Once again, clearly she has not, because one, we need to understand what trauma bonding means, what the definition of that is, one. And two, I'm like, what type of just corny, bored ass shit is that? Y'all all getting gathered around to talk about her once again, bumping Stacey up and up and up in the algorithm. And Tia, I do understand how you were upset about what happened between you and Stacey, but you talking about some, oh yeah, over here looking like a Fanta bottle. Excuse me? Like, don't you also join in on the fun? Because again, my how the tides can change instantly. I still don't think that was an issue between you and Stacey that should have caused you to want to just completely backtrack up off her. I think I still think that was really weird. But anyway, what else? So Gizelle references or she makes mention of how, because they didn't see Monique while she was married to her, Monique now being able to sit down and discuss the dissolution of her marriage, it's like very refreshing. And so for someone to come in and go ahead and hurry up and call Chris is just disgusting. And I'm like, Gizelle, you would be the one to talk about disgusting. It takes one to know one, quite honestly. And don't sit here and act like you care so much about Monique and her image and where she is now and stuff like that. Like, yeah, you guys might play nice now or whatever, but deep down inside, like, you still probably don't like that lady for real. So just be quiet. And also, at this point in time, it's just hearsay. Nothing has been proven. But for some odd reason, all you guys are crowded around so angry talking about Stacey and what she has going on, rather than talking about what's going on in y'all's lives for real, because ain't nothing probably going on. And so, because Monique is still unaware of how all this has transpired, Ashley thinks it's a good idea to sit down with Monique as well as Kay and Stacey. A couple people don't need to be privy to that conversation, but I digress. And did you guys also peep how Gizelle was reenacting Cookie, even though they're supposed to be like so cool right now or whatever? Once again, Gizelle has not changed. And her reenactment of how Cookie came up in there was very interesting, in my opinion. I'll let you guys, I extend that question to you guys. How do you guys feel about Gizelle doing that and the way in which she tried to reenact Cookie? I'd love to know. Anyway, we get this scene with Kay, her mom, and her brother, who are all absolutely amazing to look at. Let me just say that. She's hosting them at Greg's house, actually. And she tells her family that Greg has asked her to move back in. He wants to purchase her condo for her. And they've also gone to look at rings. I thought you didn't care about being married or whatever. I thought earlier on in the season, and I still haven't gone back to watch it yet, y'all. So please let me know in the comments. I thought she said that she bought the condo, or like her moving out was to like basically inflict changes or to prove a point, pretty much, was for a reason. But now he's asking to move back in. You're so willy-nilly to move back in. Your mom doesn't agree. She claims she didn't move out behind a ring. She moved out because she wasn't happy. Her brother trusts her instincts, but her mom doesn't seem moved. It's very odd to me. And again, this is what I mean when I say, okay, you're so worried about what Stacey has going on, but you really need to be worried about what's happening underneath the roofs that y'all have, and why all of a sudden now he's wanting. It's like he's pretty much, him being Greg is pretty much approaching it from like an either or perspective. Like, it's either you get the ring, you come back over here, or you don't. Also, if he's gonna buy that, is it gonna be in your name? Like, there's just so many questions, and I'm just very confused about her as an entire person at this point in time. So please, someone, please fill in the gaps for me. I really would appreciate it. Anyway, I don't really have much more to say about that, other than it's clear that she decorated Greg's entire house. Moving on. Wendy sits down. Wait. Oh, I skipped a scene, y'all. I'm sorry. I skipped the scene with Ashley and her boys and her mother, Sheila, over at her house. Y'all notice how she tried to get them boys to sing that corny ass song that she has. They didn't even care that much. Anyway, they step out onto her sunroom. And Ashley, one, you can afford a landscaper, okay? I get Michael is not, you might not have access to all the money, but I do feel like you make enough to hire you a landscaper or whatever. If I can afford a landscaper, I think you can definitely afford a landscaper, like, for real, just to cut the grass at least. But I mean, there's nothing wrong with doing it yourself. Don't get me wrong, y'all, but Ashley be being cheap to her like own detriment, and it just is annoying to watch. Anyway, what else happened? So the whole reason why Sheila came over, I guess, is so that Ashley could tell her about herself, pretty much. She also says that she's no longer talking to Josh, or he's not really in the equation, and her uncle had a lot to do with that too, because, and this is something I actually will agree with Ashley on. I don't often do that, but I do understand when she says that Josh and her are pretty much in two different types of places. He hasn't been married before. He doesn't have any children. Those are probably things that are at the forefront of his mind as he tries to enter into a relationship. Whereas Ashley having two children, based on how she was talking, doesn't really seem like she's looking to have more, or at least not at this time. And she's also finally divorced, so I don't see her being in a quick, fast hurry to get remarried. They're just at two different places in life, and that doesn't have to mean anything negative. But I'm glad that she realized that, because I mean, with time, it only would have became more difficult. Just quicker to cut them off in the beginning, y'all. But anyway, back to Sheila. So Sheila's been with the man who had her living up under the bridge. Yeah, they've been together since for the past 23 years. That's her sister's father. And Ashley also has a brother too, and I'm gonna assume that brother has a different father. Ashley's father has passed away recently. So yeah, that guy is just her sister's father, and he has an alcohol issue that has obviously caused dysfunction in that house over there. And I'm just thinking about the sister, like, she's probably either gonna it's like you can only fall in one or two directions. I feel like when it comes to that type of thing, it's either you follow in the footsteps or you just want nothing to do with it. Like, she's probably gonna go off to college and not want to be bothered with them at all. And I wouldn't blame her if what Ashley is saying, if the image that I'm getting from what Ashley is saying is true, I wouldn't want no parts of what's going on over there either once I leave the nest. But anyway, she'll be working like 12, 13-hour days. She tries to pose it as though she loves working, and I don't care. at the end of the day, if you're having all these health issues and all this stuff is going on with you, he's not trying to work. He ain't contributing to the household. You're the breadwinner. You're the only money winner over there, is what it seems. She's not even 60 yet. It's just a lot going on there. And one, Ashley, you're so concerned with Stacey and everybody else. You need to be concerned with your mama, since you say that, you know, she is the next most important person in your life behind your children. Like, what? But at the same time, certain people, unfortunately, y'all, it sucks to say it, but sometimes you just got to leave people to what they have going on. If they're not trying to change and stuff like that, you're only going to tire yourself out trying to inflict change in someone's life that they don't actually spearhead themselves. So I really would love if Ashley would, again, just be more concerned with what's going on with her life, but also understand that this is just probably what her mother wants for herself. It seems like every single time Sheila does come on our screens in a increased capacity, it's because whatever was revealed in that scene is just never good. It's just never good. I don't know. It's giving, don't be that desperate for a man, y'all. There's nothing wrong with being alone, y'all. There's nothing wrong with cutting off dead weight if they're not contributing to the household, y'all. I don't really know how else to say it. I don't have time for that type of stuff. I don't entertain that type of behavior. Never have, never will. But I feel like a lot of stuff probably, her health would probably increase if she believed him. Again, she wouldn't, as much as she loves to work, she damn sure still wouldn't probably have to work as much. Just sometimes you just gotta leave people where they at, period. Going back to what I was saying though before, that's all I got to say about that scene. What else? Wendy sits down with her sister Ivy and they discuss their father. We know that she has an estranged relationship with her father. She has been to Nigeria recently, or at least I guess was like the past year or so, and her sister went with her full family. Her mom, her brother went, Wendy went with her family, the whole thing, and they stayed for some weeks. But for whatever reason, her dad still couldn't come and see her that entire time because he was ill. I'm like, for the entire duration? Interesting. Does her dad have other kids? I'm wondering. But anyway, Wendy, for whatever reason, is still like seeking validation from her father. She's still longing for that relationship from him. She's still trying to understand, you know, why he doesn't want to be bothered with her. Like, why doesn't he want her in his life? And I side with Ivy. Ivy seems to have made amends because she seems like she has found peace in the situation, and she's like, you know, nothing wrong with you, nothing wrong. It's just he's learned to live without us, period. And that's where I would be with it, because especially when it comes to Wendy, we have seen her in other areas of her life also just really, it seems like she's a person that needs a lot of validation from different areas. And I get it, family's important, all these different things, but clearly that's just not somebody. I get it. You only get one mom and dad, but you can find love, support in other areas of her life that can be just as fulfilling. At least I have. I can wholeheartedly say that there's no relationships that have dissolved in my life that I'm over here that is just keeping me up at night. And when her mom comes into the scene, she also is quick to, in her Susan-like way, is like, you guys are doing so great. Pretty much it's his loss, is what I took from what her mom said. You guys are doing great. You're living this great life. You're funding my life. And with that being said, y'all, side note, Wendy did go to court today, and I will be back. I'll have to do a separate video on that. I still need to do my Bravo 411. There's a lot I want to talk about. And that is one of the things, but I don't want to do that in this video. Anyway, and speaking of money, they go and check out the renovations. It's just, I'm like, oh my goodness. And that's what I feel like Wendy, there probably was just a lot of pressure on her. I like to think she's somebody who just, I feel like probably succumbed to the pressure. And I just want her to just woo-saw and just live for her and be happy with who she is today. Not saying that she's 100% not happy with who she is, y'all. Don't get me wrong, but it seems like just so many external factors that just get in her head that I think she would be a lot better off if she would just leave them to the wayside. Anyway, let's go to the final scene, y'all. So we get this sit down with Monique, Ashley, Kay, Stacey, and Wendy. And Monique comes in with really good energy, like she has since she's came back to the show. I will give her that. And did you guys peep right off the bat as soon as Wendy came into the scene? Kay's whole energy shifted. It's just so annoying to watch, quite honestly. It's so annoying to watch. Like, girl, why are you even here? Especially because Stacey says she don't want you here. So once that is conveyed to Kay, she gets up. Was she crying at the bar? Like, I don't even know. We just seen her dab her eyes. I don't even know. Girl, go away. Go away from us with this. Like, just bye. And so they already started to tell their side of the story to Monique before Wendy and Stacey even got there. But Monique checked in with Wendy when she got there and was like, so what do you think? Like, you know her better than us. Like, what's your outlook on it? And Wendy still wants to allow Stacey to speak for herself. But she says that she was just adamantly denying having spoke to Chris. So, and I also thought it was funny when Monique was like, Charisse. And I feel like that is indicative of all of the red flags in this story. Kay's expressions, Cookie, like there's just so many possibilities of why this whole thing is unfolding and occurring the way it is. I really just do not believe that it happened in the way that Kay is meaning it happened. I don't. It doesn't really match up to me. But anyway, in comes Stacey, and she reiterates that she's never dated Chris. Regardless, Monique doesn't care, and I love that. Monique is at the end of the day like, again, I left this man for a reason, and Stacey just starts breaking things down and outlining all of the instances where Chris actually was the one to reach out to her, and she ignored him. And Wendy was just like, yeah, I just don't think that it was anybody at this table that did it. And as she's saying that, she goes into her confessional to describe that it could be, one of three situations here. We could have a situation where one, both of y'all don't like Stacey, meaning Cookie and Kay. So could you guys have just drummed this up for no reason? Very plausible. Then we have another situation where it could have happened because Angel went ahead and told Bobby, and then them and Chris, they know each other. So could she have told Bobby, and then Bobby ran and then told Chris? Especially because remember how earlier I said that Angel mentioned how Bobby is even more like shadier than her or whatever. Really? Sounds like something a shady person would do. Just saying. Just want to draw that parallel for you guys. And then we also have a situation where it could have been, it could have been Stacey. It really could have been Stacey. Or no, it could have been Gizelle, I should say. It could have been Gizelle because she does love mess, and her and Cookie have became mighty chummy. I could see that. I definitely could. And then at the end of the day, yes, it could also be Stacey, because we cannot negate the fact that Stacey has lied about some different things since being on the show. She definitely has. But at the end of the day, I just don't think it's that important. And I want them to stop breathing life into this whole Chris Stacey situation, because she already said she's with her husband. And it's really just low hanging fruit at this point in time when there's clearly a lot more important things to talk about. There's too many variables there of what it could have been. And I just am not invested in any one of them to where I want to see it continue to play out on my screen. I don't know. Maybe I'm just speaking for myself. Y'all let me know in the comment section. I did love how Monique says, I think she's still obviously open to wanting to have a relationship with Stacey. Stacey also wants to have a relationship with Monique. So they seem to be good, in my opinion. I'm sure Monique is also not blind to knowing how messy the Ashleys, Gizelles, the certain individuals in this group could be. Charisse, clearly, Cookie, like different individuals. So I would love to just be inside Monique's brain at this point, even more in depth. But I did love when she said, just be careful when it comes to Chris. So again, I don't think any of this has Monique moved in the way that Gizelle, Ashley, Kay, Tia, Angel, everybody else wants her to be moved. I don't. And quite honestly, if I was Monique, I would be very weary still of the Ashleys and Gizelles in particular, because they've seen her act out in ways that, quite honestly, I could see them wanting her to reignite that old, to bring that old Monique back. Could they possibly be wanting to get things started like that? Potentially, in my opinion. I don't put it past either one of them. So again, the world may never know. I don't quite care too much, but again, we got to come down here and talk about it, of course, like I always do with y'all. Do not forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, y'all. Do all the things. Follow me on my socials that I've been scrolling along the bottom of the screen, and share me with all of your folks. And yeah, that's all I got to say. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.